You guys. Okay. I'm going to breathe deep because I'm so excited about this topic. And if you've worked with me, then I probably mentioned this, and we might even be working on it presently. But today is the day we get to talk about play, like literally play. So if we're thinking joy, right? The first time you ever experienced joy, you were playing. And I am so psyched because I was just listening to Stuart Brown, so let's set some context here. All right. So many things swirling in my head. So I was in a career that was like a gift. Teaching, it's a pleasure. You're an angel if you're a teacher. It's a pleasure to be with students and to see kids. One, because they get to play. But my experience of teaching was not playful. I had all this stress, all this overwhelm. I had to do, this, that, and the other. And there was this perfectionist thing going on, and I just couldn't find the play. And for years, I was like, if only I could have more fun at work. I know I could do this and it would be fine. And I just couldn't get myself to have enough fun at work to stay doing it. It was too stressful for me. I did not create the mental wiring to make that task fun. And of course I had fun moments. I mean, the kids are hilarious and we had fun in the lab, but the overwhelming feeling was overwhelming stress, which caused all these health problems. So when I decided to quit, it was the lightest day of my life. I had a mentor of mine who was a teacher, a master teacher, Gina Vandermeulen, at where I went to school. I can't talk, I'm so excited. And she's like, if it's not working for you, you can just quit. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna quit. Anyways, we talked about it and I decided to quit, and it was amazing. And I had 6 months from there, and that's when I fell into coaching. I didn't know about it, didn't know it was a thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's made for me. But one of the things that I decided for myself was I needed to have more fun in whatever it was that I was going to do next. And I didn't know that it was going to be a little bit challenging to just start having fun, since I didn't have the wiring in my brain for that yet. And we've learned this week where the wiring comes from. Negativity bias we have to overcome. Then we have to stop and interrupt our old thought patterns and consciously recreate new happy patterns. So that takes some time and practice. And I learned about all that through coaching and through experience and all that joy. So today, as we talk about play, this is so near and dear to my heart because, and my roommate will tell you, I've gone through a whole transformation from when I was teaching to becoming a coach and bringing my old pattern with me of being overwhelmed, of trying to do too many things. And I have these Jenny days that are jam-packed full of stuff, always trying to get all the stuff in, and it's intense. But when I find the time to make play a priority, or to have more fun, or I ask friends to send me funny things because it's been a long day, that is starting to turn my life around. And this is the shirt that I wore on my last day of school. Don't quit your daydream. And I didn't know it at the time, but this was going to be the inspiration for my future. And this is what I strive for, you guys. So when I think about joy and I think about this week for you, I want you to feel that you can have joyful moments at any time doing anything. Rachel is here. Alvin is here. That's so great, you guys. You guys are master players. And if we trace it back to when we were small, and yesterday we started to do that, that was a little hint about what I would like for you to do today. When we looked at laughter and we were in a still place, if you had time, if you weren't driving or something. If you're driving, that's if you can go back and listen to that 5 minutes where you just breathe slow for a while and get yourself relaxed, and then think about your favorite time laughing recently, that feeling, that emotion, trace it back to when you were a kid. And I was validated by that today because I was looking at research, because that's what I do before I talk to you guys. I prime myself on what I want to talk about and get the masters. I listen to somebody that's a master on whatever topic I'm thinking about. And today it was Stuart Brown, because Brene Brown, you guys know Brene Brown, right? She's a master researcher on shame and vulnerability, and she discovered the importance of play. And I was listening to this book online, and when I heard this point that said one of the 10 guideposts of a wholehearted life is play and rest, I almost stopped the car. I was like, oh my God, thank you, Brene Brown, because I needed some validation that seeking play was useful, because I'm going to get emotional, because I wouldn't give myself play unless I did this, right? So the validation that we as adults need play is huge. Okay, so I found Stuart Brown because she said through his research, that's how she realized that it was actually important, because she discovered it authentically through her research. She saw like wholehearted people were doing this thing, and these are the tenets of what play is. And I want you to think about when you are able to do these things. The tenets of play are that you lose track of time, so you're in that flow state. He calls it a play state. You don't care what you look like, and we were thinking about that yesterday, so you're not self-conscious. You don't want it to end, and the outcome of it is not the most important thing. So it's not like you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. You're not doing it to produce something or to achieve something. Sometimes achievement does occur, right? And you do produce something, but that's not the main point of it. You're actually like in the process, in the moment. And if we think about it, that's like being present. And you guys, like, I'm putting all these dots together in my head as I'm doing my work and I'm researching and I'm listening to teachers. And the teachers that I'm most attracted to have this sense of humor. They have this lightheartedness. And it's like the monks, right? Like the professional yogis. Some of them are stoic and very, like still, but some of them are so playful. That's where it validates that we are humans, came here to play. Okay, so, not that piece of paper. I wrote down some research as I found Stuart Brown. I don't know why I didn't just search him before, because Stuart Brown's research, he researched violence and criminals and even murderers to see kind of what their background was, and he discovered that there was a progressive repression of play that stunted their developmental process, and it was kind of across the board for these individuals who were vulnerable to being very violent or to doing crimes that are like kind of horrific. So he was looking into play, and he found, and this is what I heard from Brene Brown, this was the quote that she gave, and Stuart Brown kept in my head, was that the opposite of play is not work. And if you've heard me say before, if we work together, the opposite of play is depression. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense. Try to imagine a world, Stuart Brown said this, like imagine a world without imagination, without fantasy, without flirtation, without joking around, without like movies and comedy. That doesn't sound like much fun, right? And you've experienced maybe some of those times in your life where it was devoid of those things and it was miserable. And so what he found in his research, there's this word, I'm going to say it right, I hope, neoteny. Neoteny is the ability to maintain youthfulness as you grow into adulthood. And that youthfulness, what are some words that he says, like humans happen to be the most flexible, the most plastic, the most playful, youthful mammals. And so we actually are the most playful animal. And as we age in certain cultures, including this one, we tend to lose the tenets of play in our everyday life, and it becomes serious. And I was total victim of that. Just taking myself too seriously. Nobody's fault. I was taking myself too seriously and putting all this pressure on myself, and like, this is the way it needs to be done, and I have to finish this, and da-da-da-da. And I had some great mentors as a teacher who would like help me be more fun and playful with it. And so I definitely learned from many people along the way. And we got some master players here, like Alvin with his drones going up and around and having so much fun making videos, and Pete with his TikToks. Have you seen them? Yesterday he posted several of them, and they're hilarious. Like, I turn to those people for helping me be more playful. And even my roommate, she'll like come out of her room and like dance around and be like happy, and I'm like typing away or like on a call, and I'm like see her on my peripheral vision, and I'm like laughing in my head because I'm like maybe on a Zoom or something. But play is so important, you guys. So, and there's science to prove it. So other things that they researched and found, it starts when a baby is looking into their mom's eyes. When their eyes are developed enough, they can see facial expressions, and that baby is making a real smile, an authentic smile from happiness, not just like an accident of muscle twitching, but they actually smile. And then Stuart Brown says the mom erupts in joyful laughter, and then the baby erupts in joyful laughter. And when that happens, the right brain becomes attuned. And so there's lots of obviously physiological effects, and it leads to development of the cortex. There's some prefrontal activity, which is where we problem solve and where we plan. That's our like rational brain. So playfulness, which is like whimsical and lighthearted and carefree and silly and imaginative, is actually a doorway into innovation. And so he ended his talk, which I'll share the talk, I'll put it on, with this study in the design school, I think at Stanford, where they're studying play and how it can be used to problem solve. And they found that students that hadn't worked with their hands or hadn't had a lot of like fixing things or like tinkering around were not good at solving problems. And they were brilliant students, very intelligent, but you take somebody that's coming from the mechanics class and they were able to solve problems more easily because they were working with their hands and they're used to like playing and tinkering and just like being imaginative. So that is pretty exciting. And here's another study that they mentioned, so you might not need to watch the whole thing because I'm going to tell you almost all of it. This study that they did with rats, they prevented a group of rats from playing when they were young, and then the other group was playing. They exposed them both to like a cat saturated smelling collar. They all fled and fled and hid, as we would expect. But the ones that didn't play when they were young stayed hidden and they died. And the ones that were playful when they were young and had a normal, like, playful, I know, right? It's crazy. They had the playful upbringing. They eventually started to come out, test, look around, and like experiment with their surroundings. They didn't stay hidden and they survived. So that was pretty shocking for me. And it really, like, if I think about where I was and the pressure I was putting on myself, and like I really did feel like I was kind of dying. So that was like, without play, you guys, life is not worth living. And I gotta say it, that's just the reality. So as we move through our holiday season, how can you make it playful and fun? And I know it's so different, which is why I wanted to have this joy group here. My original idea was to have a play challenge, and I was going to do it more in the fall, but I was too busy in the fall. But this idea has been on my mind to have like a play challenge. So we'll have a straight up play challenge coming up in the new year. But then when I was like, okay, Jen, are you going to do a challenge or not? And I thought this season, I was starting to get excited about like the holidays, but then kind of starting to feel a little bit bummed about the differences of the holidays this season because of our challenges with quarantining and such. So I was like, if I need joy, other people need joy. So that's why we're doing joy. But play obviously is linked to joy, right? That's how we experience joy, is through play. So what I want you guys to think about today, and before we leave, we're going to go back to, and Stuart Brown had them do this, which made me feel so good about yesterday. This morning he said, I recommend that you look at the very first, most clear picture of your young self when you were playing and just get that emotion. What were you doing? What was the context? And think about what you were doing and how it relates to your life right now. And I have clients do this, and I did it in a wonderful talk that maybe some of you women saw, the WXW. We went back in time to look at our younger selves and when they were having the most fun and being the most playful. So I want you to just take like 30 seconds right now and think about it. You can look away from the screen, you don't need to type, you can look out the window, but just think about the earliest, most clear picture of when you were having a ball, when you were playing. And it could be by yourself, imagining things. It could be rough and tumble. It could be, what are some other types of play? Spectator, sports play, imagination. It could be any of those things. Like building stuff, playing in the sandbox, social play, curiosity. So what were you doing when you were so young and you had that carefree, just like yesterday we were thinking about when you were laughing, carefree, happy moments? obviously I'd love for you to type it in the chat. But today, that's going to be our challenge. So I want you to take whatever it is that you are doing. For me, it was certainly playing outside, and certainly with like kittens. Like there's kitten experiences and the dog. Oh my gosh, me and animals, like that, we go way back. So for me, it's outside and playing with animals. Also exploring, like the trip that we would take, my brother and I would take to the candy store, which was like through the woods, through the scary, like past the scary like junkyard, across the train tracks. It was an adventure, and that's why I love sweet things too, guys. I figured that out a while ago. I link sweet things to that sense of adventure and connection with my brother. So today, I want you to bring out your favorite shirt that is playful. Don't quit your daydream. And all the playful things. Share what your playful moment was. I have other playful shirts that might inspire you. Or my friend Ian, it's what a doll he is. He is a master player too. Brilliant man, so creative, an artist. He gave me this shirt and I love it because I love The Incredibles. And one of my oldest friends, high school friends, we got these shirts when I went to visit her in California. She has one with a cat riding a slice of pizza, which maybe you've seen those before, and I have Thor cat. And so this is the first play, honestly, that got me back into like my joyful self, because if you spend some time with me, like I'm most fun when I'm like a little kid and like playful, right? So for me, it was like putting on play, and like I would always be attracted to like silly shirts and things like that. And so expressing our play, guys, and it doesn't have to be for my clients. We work on like scheduling in time to their schedule to be playful, to like go do a task that makes you feel like you're losing track of time. You don't want it to end. But it really, and Stuart Brown said this, which I love, it needs to be infused your whole day. You don't have to schedule it. You should schedule it, and it should be a normal part of your thing where it just becomes natural. But you can be silly with anybody. You can be silly with yourself, which is what I'm working on. I'm much better at being silly with everybody else, and with myself, I still have some habits of like, Jenny, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, to be accountable and responsible and like prove myself. But I'm catching myself and being way more playful than even a year ago and a year before that. I've been out of teaching for a few years, and was a special moment in my life. Without that teaching experience, I wouldn't be able to be so emotional about the importance of play. And the students were why I could do it for 15 years, because they did still have that playful attitude. So I'd watch it in them and I could still get emotional again. All right. Okay, you guys, we kept it under 20 minutes. So your challenge today is just to play, and it could be something teeny tiny. You're going to play your favorite song, like my All You Want for Christmas Is You song, which I totally got to dance to three times actually on Tuesday. And lately my playtime has just been Christmas music all the way. But also outside, you guys, it's snowing. Make a snow angel. Make some snowballs. I don't know. Do what you need to do. But play does not need to be restricted to regular things. It could be, you guys tell me, teach me how to play. Okay. That's your challenge today. All right. Have fun. And I can't wait to see what your playthings are. All right. I got to stop because otherwise I'll just keep going. And I'm going to post Stuart Brown's thing because it's really important. And, it's 26 minutes. You don't have to watch it all, but it's there. Okay. Yes, snow forts, kayaking, heck yes. I love being in the kayak, and I know you do too, Alvin. It's like you're one with the water. All right, bye guys, can't wait. Post away today. Let this be like the hugest posting ever.